Okay, scrawny little fuck. I don't know who the hell you think you are, but a knife or a sword isn't about to cut through 3 inches of fucking armor. Try to battle a tank with a sword, you'll end up crushed. You need something with penetration, power, something that can tear through steel. Sorry, but the muscle capacity of a human being just isn't enough. Maybe against a flesh and blood person, a blade might do some good. But we're in a death race. Heavily armored vehicles all the way around. A blade ain't gonna do shit, old man. Oh, and here I thought you were smart. Just because something is simple in its nature doesn't mean it has to be simple in its design, you ignoramus. Simply fashion a weapon that's more suitable. Just as other weapons technologies have advanced, so too have technologies that allow us to cut through things we need to cut through. Simply apply the same methods to a blade. It should be quite effective, even against all that thick armor. You know what? I'm starting to get sick of your face. I'm thinking it might be good decoration, Danny said, beginning to take another few steps towards the doctor. Hey, calm it the hell down, I shouted out, stepping out and standing between the two. Your job isn't to kill each other, so stop with the insults and the trying to prove you're smarter than the other person. This is a team job. Stop insulting each other and just try to work together, at least for the time being. If you want to try to kill each other after the race is over, that's on you. But as for right now, I kind of need everyone here. So put it on the back burner. Fine, Danny said, turning around and heading back towards the workshop table. Freaking sword. How the hell am I supposed to make a freaking sword work? Ugh, I sighed. This was getting more stressful by the moment. But the doctor's sword idea did have some merit to it. I mean, I usually used a nightstick. That wasn't too much different than a sword, or a blade for that instance. It's a close-range weapon. I suppose a sword might be able to cut into armaments if it was made of the right material in the right way. Being able to slash away at tires might be pretty effective. Stab into engines, cut off bits of weaponry that are dangerous. It might work. The only question being, how the hell would I make a sword able to cut through things like that? I'm definitely not strong enough to physically do it. And then, yet again, another thought occurred to me. I was thinking about the bike in general, and its overall design, and how to include what weaponry we had. That, along with the thought of a sword, brought my attention to the core of the bike, so to speak. Its heart. Not the engine. That was a different sort of heart. What you might say is the core of its frame. The industrial-sized chainsaw chain that I used to pin it all together. That spins all of the wheels. Makes the bike move. A chainsaw might be effective. There are chainsaws that run on electrical power. And there are even saws that are able to cut through steel. If they're moving at a high enough rate of speed and made out of a stronger metal, I thought to myself, pawing at my chin, gently as I stared down at the floor for a moment. Hey Danny, I shouted over, looking at him, still grasping at my chin. Tell me, what's the hardest metal that you can get a hold of? Something stronger than the usual armor that people use to make their vehicles. Stronger than the bulletproofing. Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, there is stuff that's stronger, but it's damn near impossible to find. Once again, even if we could get a hold of some, the price tag, would be enormous. What you're looking for is silver tyrite. It was a new metal developed towards the end of the Third Great War. The stuff is ridiculously hard to make and made of exceptionally rare materials. But in terms of overall strength, the shit's damn near unbreakable. Even superheated, you can't tear it away, break it down. Even the process to cast it into a solid shape takes some serious freaking doing. Look, just because that guy suggested a sword doesn't mean it's gonna work. Even if you make a blade out of that stuff, you're still relying on your own physical strength. That's not gonna be able to cut through solid steel armor. It's just not possible. Yeah, I know a regular sword wouldn't, but what if you took that stuff you were talking about and then created something of a chainsaw, but a much more refined design, not made to cut through wood, but steel, made out of the stuff you were talking about? Then I wouldn't be relying on my physical strength. It would be the rapid movement of the chainsaw tearing through the steel, not me. Maybe some physical strength would be required, but nowhere near as much. For a moment, Danny looked like he was thinking about it, scratching the top of his head and leaning back against the workshop bench. Well, I'm not 100%. To be honest, I don't know how effective saws are against steel and armor plating, but I could definitely look into industrial work. People who use equipment to cut through steel and things like that. Some of the science behind the tools that they use to do it. And throw together some basic design. Find out what would work best. I mean, are you sure you want to go this route? If I start looking into this stuff, it's gonna take time. Every moment I spend wasting on some sort of chainsaw sword, it's gonna take time away from the other weaponry. You don't have that much longer before the race starts. So, if you want to back out of this, I'd say that now's the best time, before I start wasting my energy on it. No, I think you should go ahead with it, I replied. The doc had a good point. I'm an up-close fighter, so having an up-close weapon would definitely help me. I think that, along with the pulse cannon and the plasma rifle, should be a good enough assortment. Remember, I'm not going out of my way to try to make conflict with everybody. I don't need to fight off a war. The speed of the bike is going to give me a definite edge. I'm going to be able to get out in front and stay there. So really, the only confrontation I'm going to need to deal with is from other vehicles that were fast enough to tear out in front like me. And if they have that kind of speed, the chances are they're going to be running light on either armor or weaponry, the same as me. So it'll be a much more even playing field. The only thing left to set up besides that is finding a way to protect my physical body. The bike is armored enough. It'll resist most damage. The real soft spot's gonna be me. Most people have the luxury of being inside of an automobile, surrounded on all four sides by exceptionally thick armor. On a motorcycle, I'm not gonna have that luxury. After you start looking into the chainsaw thing, I think that should be your next focus. After all, the pulse rifle, the pulse cannon, and the plasma rifle are fairly functional already. All that really needs to be done is to set up the power source and the batteries. So, I think our primary concern when it comes to weapons and defense is going to be finding a way to defend me personally. Because if I get shot off the bike, the fact that the bike itself is badass isn't going to help me. I need to stay alive if I'm gonna win the race.